JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 29th of September 2020. So yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon quick session where we're going to have a look at the markets, some of the charts, just to see how everything's kind of getting along. But as always, guys, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website, and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab on the top there. So while it loads up, actually, let me just jump into the charts here. Now the first one I want to pick up is on the German DAX. So the index is currently trading in the red, although you can see that the bulls are really fighting hard trying to get this one higher, but this is exactly what I was talking about yesterday, that if we get a push higher, yes, and we could see this one moving further north. However, we'll be very careful near this 21-day EMA shown as the yellow line here. As you can see, for now this this area is kind of providing a resistance. So let's see if it can continue doing that. If it does continue to provide resistance, then well, another round of selling here could be possible. But if we get a nice push above this 21-day EMA, then all eyes are on this psychological 13,000 territory, which if gets broken could open the door towards higher levels. First of all, let me get rid of this upside line here, no longer needed, and the same story here. So basically that idea kind of worked out initially. So now I'm mainly focusing on some of these key support and resistance levels, and like I said, on the upside, I need to see a nice good break above this 21-day EMA, and also maybe just a push above this 13,000 territory in order to get a little bit more comfortable with higher levels. In terms of the downside, if it starts falling back below the 12,754 territory right here, then maybe we could consider a bit of a move back down towards this 100-day EMA, or maybe a little bit lower. But again, if we see such a move below this 12,754 territory, then yep, we'll aim for slightly lower areas. Jumping into Dow Jones Industrial Average, and here the as you can see, this downside line got broken, and yesterday I talked about this one. Basically, the index broke above this downside line, and everything kind of looks okay. However, there's a bit of a problem here, given that the index still failed to stay above the 21-day EMA here. And if we look at the cash index right now, we can see that yes, initially the index kind of moved a little bit higher above that, but now it's back below it. So basically it's kind of trading near the yesterday's close, but slightly fractionally below this 21-day EMA. So this kind of makes us a little bit careful here. Of course, don't get me wrong, there is a good chance for this one to move higher as long as it stays above this downside line. But just like I said, we would probably like to see a nice daily close here above this 21-day EMA in order to get a little bit more excited about higher areas. But again, like I said, be very careful here for now. Let's see how all this is going to play out. So keep your eyes on this downside line. As I said, if the price remains above this downside line, then we will stay somewhat positive on this one. Jumping into another index, and this is a quick update on the DXY, the dollar index. So everything's kind of working out according to the plan that I talked about yesterday. Yesterday I mentioned that there is a possibility for this one to go for a bit of a larger correction here, given that it failed to move above this downside line taken from the high of the 23rd of March. So now the all eyes are on this 93.81 zone. If that provides support, then yep, a nice rebound here could be possible. And preferably, of course, if we want to look at some higher levels, maybe going further, then yes, a break of this downside line would be required, and also a push above this 94.65 level would be needed as well. And that level marks the lowest point of March of this year, and also, as you can see, it kind of acted as a good area of resistance last week, so at the end of last week. So yeah, again, like I said, a breakthrough of both of these would be needed to get a little bit more comfortable. But as I said, for now we're keeping an eye on this 93.81 zone, and if this provides support, then yes, we could see a nice reversal here back to the upside. But again, let's for now be very careful and cautious. It still might go a little bit lower, but yeah, let's keep an eye on this area and of course on this 21-day EMA. But if all this gets broken, now this could turn out to be ugly for the US dollar, so yeah, keep your eyes on that one. Silver is moving nicely to the upside, of course, driven by the weakness in the dollar, yep, it climbed above yesterday. It climbed above this 23.40 territory I spoke about previously, so that it closed above that as well, and you can see that today we're having a continuation move higher, however not a strong one, given that the dollar is not really kind of moving lower that much. I mean, here we're having just a nice gentle move to the upside, if we can put it this way. Initially, what I'm gonna be looking at here. Now, previously I looked at this 26.05 level, but to be honest, given the current situation and a little uncertainty, I would probably only aim right now somewhere towards aim for this level here, the 24.40 territory. Or even actually, let me just recycle one of these lines. Actually, let me just grab this one, or I could aim for this one, the high of the 22nd of September, which also kind of could coincide with the 21-day EMA here shown as the yellow line. So in other words, this move here could be possible, given that we are now trading above this 23.40 zone, which is marked by the low of the 12th of August. Now, in terms of the downside, of course, break of this upside line is required. If you're very careful and cautious, you could wait for a drop below last week's low here near the 21.66 zone, and then yes, lower levels could be met. Now, jumping into Bitcoin, there we go. So here, to be honest, the crypto is flat. It's not really doing much and just kind of oscillating around its 21-day EMA. So I'll just repeat what I've said before, that in order to consider maybe some slightly higher levels, we would prefer to wait for a push above this 11,145 zone. And in terms of the downside, of course, a drop below this area here, this low of the 23rd of September near the 10,152 zone would be needed, but then we'll be very careful near this level here, near this 9,882 zone marked by the lowest point of September, which currently also coincides with the 200-day EMA, which basically this area could provide support. If you're more on the risky side, what you could look at as well, and let me just put this one on the chart very quickly, you could probably not wait until we see a drop below this 10,152. You could start looking at this little territory right here, this 10,000, well, let's round it up here a little bit, a 600 zone. So a nice good drop below this may open the door to those lower levels. However, the reason why I'm saying that if you're more on the risky side, because if it drops lower here, we still have this 100-day EMA here, so which could provide a bit of support. So that's why be very careful in this area right here. So, but again, it it could prove to be itself a nice move. However, like I said, a bunch of obstacles on the way lower here are present here, so that's why we'll keep an eye on this area, and we'll keep an eye on these two levels for now. Jumping into a few pairs, Aud Jpy, here the situation is quite interesting. Now this morning I talked about this pair, and yesterday I talked about this pair as well. So what I was saying that that if this area provides resistance, the 74.83 zone, then we might see a bit of a retracement here. However, if it gets broken, then we'll start looking at a possible move towards this 75.61 zone marked by the lows of the 20th and the 21st of August. Here, of course, the reason why I have my upside scenario from here, because if this pair approaches this area, it still could find resistance near this 21-day EMA, and that's why we'll be very careful for now. Probably at the moment, yes, from the very short-term perspective, if this daily candle remains above this 74.83 territory, then yes, there is a possibility for this one to move a little bit higher. However, we'll be very cautious near this area, near the 75.61, because if it provides good resistance, then maybe then we could see that nice move to the downside. So again, guys, for now, be very careful, be very cautious, and let's see how all this is gonna play out. If we get a break above this 21-day EMA and above this 75.61 zone, then maybe we could start looking at the upside again. USD CAD, quick update here. To be honest, not much is happening, but the most important is that the rate is still getting held by this 100-day EMA shown as the green line, and for now, to be honest, we cannot really talk about any moves here. Of course, it has left a little room here for a possible move towards this other downside line here, taken from the high of the 31st of March. So if we get a nice pop above this 100-day EMA, then yes, we'll aim for this downside line, which, if provides resistance, could result could push the pair back down here. So from the very short-term perspective, of course, there is a possibility for this one to move higher. However, like I said, it's not really moving anywhere right now because both of the currencies are currently weak. So so that's why we're going to continue just observing this one. If the pair starts falling somewhere below this area right here, below this 1.3240 zone, now this is where we could start looking at some lower levels. But again, for now, we're a little bit far from that. We're closer to this 100-day EMA. If that gets broken, yes, we'll aim for this downside line. GBP USD, here the pair is pushing a little bit higher here to the upside today, but not much. It's still struggling with this area. It's stuck here between the 100-day EMA and the 21-day EMA, so basically stuck in this little area, and that's why when I was covering this one last time, I talked about this barrier here, this psychological 130 zone, a break of which is required in order to aim for higher levels. And in terms of the downside, we need to see maybe at least a drop below this 200-day EMA and this 1.2763 territory in order to maybe consider a bit of a larger correction to the downside here towards this upside support line taken from the low of the 18th of May. And finally, EURUSD. So here the pair is not moving nicely according to the plan. This morning I spoke about this one. This is what I was saying, that there is a possibility for this one to move higher here towards maybe somewhere towards this area near the 1.1753, which also coincides with the 21-day EMA. But if that area provides resistance, now this is where it could become a bit more interesting for the sellers again. For the buyers, we need to see a break of this downside line first before kind of, let's say, getting a little bit more excited with the upside. But for now, like I said, it is pushing higher. It could still move a little bit to the little bit north, but be very careful near this highlighted area right here, roughly around the 1.1753 zone, which also kind of coincides with the 21-day EMA. If that provides resistance, another round of selling here could be possible. So guys, this was a quick review of some of the instruments that I looked at this morning and yesterday, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it, and if you want to catch my videos my morning espresso tomorrow morning. As always, my trader's espresso, 6 o'clock GMT time. Just a quick reminder as well, there won't be any videos on Thursday and Friday, but there will be on, well, tomorrow. But yeah, guys, I hope you, like I said, you join me tomorrow morning as my trader's espresso, as always, at 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.